Your content might be smart, your offer might be good, but if your profile is not showing instantly trust, value, and clarity, then you're leaving lots of opportunities on the table as well as leads. Now, you don't know me, I help business leaders to scale their personal brand on LinkedIn. I've even worked with a few founders featured on the Inc. 5000 list, who have been awarded as some of the fastest growing companies in the US. And honestly, LinkedIn is my full job. So for that reason, I watch and review and analyze dozens of profiles every single day. And of course, I've noticed the patterns in the difference between profiles that really make me want to follow them and see what they are doing, that are high converting assets versus the one that are just easier to ignore. And here, of course, I'll show you what I've learned so you can build a high converting profile step by step. I'll also show you specific hacks and hidden tricks that you can use in LinkedIn to make this a premium profile. And to make this way easier to apply, you'll have access to a free GPT that is part of my AA Army. It's called Profile Pilot, and this GPT will help you to build different parts of what I'm going to tell you automatically with AI. So all you're going to do is just answer a few questions, and we're going to be able to build that together with AI. And if you want even more personalized help building your profile, I'll also leave the link below where, if it's still available, you can book a one-on-one profile audit with me. And in that call, I'll let you know what you're doing in an amazing way, or even after going through all this video, if there are any other things that I consider we can improve from your profile there. So let's just start from the top to the bottom, and make sure to watch till the end so you know what parts you're already doing and what others need a point of improvement. Now, first things first. Everyone has a different preference in the design, in the type of message they want to share. So it's a bit abstract what's good and not. But there's a bit of a math that we can use to know if you're in the right direction or not. And this is something I haven't heard a lot of people talking about. And I'm talking about the profile efficiency score. And this is really simple because your profile is like a landing page, right? You have there the offer of people to follow you. And your message resonates enough and you're positioned in a way that it looks like a useful decision to be following your journey and any other things that you have to offer, then the question is, how many people are actually saying yes to that offer? And here's how you're going to find that out. First thing we need to do is to download your LinkedIn data, okay? I'll show you exactly how to do it, but we need to make sure we download at least the last 90 days. I actually have this profile who's brand new. You can see we have nothing in this part. So the way you can download your data here is going to below your picture, your banner and everything to the part of the analytics. Now I'll just translate this page real quick so we can both see that in English because it's in Spanish. My language. Okay. Now you see here it says analysis, the analytics. And when you click on this button, it'll take you directly to everything. And here's what we need to download. Now, in this case, you can click on the amount of followers. Boom. Right? And in this part, you're able to select everything. So it can be from the last 7 days, 14, 28, 90. Now, I'm going to select 90, show all results. Of course, this profile is brand new, so we have nothing. But it'll show you your impressions, people who have seen your profile, everything will be here. Now, of course, the only thing we need to do is to click in this button that says export. Now, from there, the next step is to upload this data to ChatGPT, or you can use some filters in that Excel file that is going to give you to make the total of how many followers you've been getting in the last 90 days, right? So I don't want to use any fancy things in Excel. So for that reason, I just upload it to ChatGPT, and in seconds, I tell it, hey, just count all the followers I've been getting in the last 90 days. And it's going to give me absolutely everything. So that's my favorite way to do that. Now, once you have the total of the amount of followers you got in that period, you are going to check also the amount of people who have seen your profile, okay? Now, how we do that? You go again to your profile. So going back, and if you see, the first button we actually have here says profile views. So once you click here, I only have one because I watched this profile myself. You see, this is my main profile. It's going to tell you how many people have seen your profile in the last 90 days. That's important because we are going now to calculate your profile efficiency score with this formula. So when you see this, the formula we're going to use, it's the amount of new followers that you got divided by the amount of profile visits that you had in your profile. And once you have that, you multiply that by 100 and it'll give you the score of the efficiency you have. Now, as I was saying, make sure to analyze this to the same time frame. So I'm not saying when you calculate the amount of followers you have that you do it for the total you have right now. But no, it's for the ones that you had in the last 90 days, because LinkedIn only gives you the data for the ones who have seen your profile in the same period of time. So that's important too. So the math, it's actually good, right? Now, when you do that, you can pause this video right here and you can check in the chart that I have here where it's your score, if it's something good or if there's a lot of steps for improvement. So of course, when you do this, you'll have to wait during the months to see how it's performing for you. So remember, if you want to get faster feedback that is personalized to you, you can check out and apply for one-on-one call with me below. So I can give you that second opinion of what you can improve in your profile. But now that you know if your profile is converting people who align with your message or not, let's make sure that you actually make a good first impression. Because there's a quote I love that says, you never get a second chance to give a good first impression. And it all starts with having a good profile picture. And listen, I'm not talking about looks. I'm actually talking about clarity and presence. Because if you have a blurry picture there or something that you took 5 years ago, or it's just a pixelated selfie, people are not going to trust you. So here are the key things you can do to make that look better. So first of all, it's your formatting. And what works best, it's a square format that goes from the chest up. I've seen some people who sometimes put it like to the waist, or it can be way too far or way too close. And another thing that works too is the brand integration. And this is just having one color in your background. The reason for this is because having these colors increases the recall for your brand. And I've actually experienced this too. Like there's been times where I'm talking with someone and they say, oh yeah, I like this guy. He creates really good content, has amazing visuals. I can't remember his name, but he has like a green mint color in the background. And I'm like, oh, NJ. And he's like, oh yeah, this person, totally. I'm like, oh yeah, I know him. But sometimes people can't remember your name. They can or they cannot, but a color is easy to relate with you. And it's very likely you're also going to be using this color for other brand assets like infographics, carousels, landing pages, you name it. And I'm also showing you an example here of a profile we were optimizing. And as you can see, it's, for example, a first picture, I think this person was in a chair and then the other person who was in front took the picture. And that's why you see it from the angle that it's pointing below. It's not really the best thing you can do. That's why the second image looks better. Right now, we are actually working with brand colors, looks more professional. It's from the chest up, it's centered, and all is just better. Now, if you need more help on this, you can use this AI tool that I'll also leave the link below. And it's this Snapper Photo Analyzer. You can search it like that on the web. And the reason I love this AI tool, it's because it's going to ask you to link it to your LinkedIn profile. And after that, it's going to tell you how good it actually is. But it's not going to be your personal judgment. So if your color, it's in color red, it's very likely that's the worst thing you can put. If it's in color yellow, that means there's a lot of room for improvement. And when it's in color green, that means it's optimized. And you can also see this in the screen where it tells you, analyzes your face, if your smile is good, how's the jawline. It also analyzes the composition. This thing that I was telling you about the zoom, that's why it tells you from the chest up is the best thing you can do. Or if not, it's going to ask you to zoom it down or to take a little bit of zoom. Also, it's going to analyze a rule of thirds, the background, you name it. It's going to tell you multiple things. Also, it's going to tell you about the editing of the picture and if you can do anything to improve that, like the contrast, the sharpness, all of those things. This one is completely free, and I also use it with other people in my community, so I know it's going to help you a lot too. But your profile picture isn't the only visual that matters, because above that, there is something I've seen a lot of people wasting. So for that reason, we need to talk about your banner, because a mistake I usually see, it's some people putting a stock picture that, yes, I get it. It might be a super pretty image, but that doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be pretty. It needs to be useful. That's why even if you hire a designer, I've seen this mistake. Some people just hire a designer to make this work. But it's still a mess because it's not about the design, it's what you actually put in that space. So it doesn't only need to be pretty, it needs to contain your value proposition, like the image that I show you at the top, right? This person is we are deleting all the text that he had in his profile, and we're having something that is more clear on the way that he actually helps other people too. Other mistakes I've seen, it's if you repeat your logo, but you put your logo in like it's the full screen of your banner. And that doesn't really matter because you have other spaces in your profile to put your logo. And also, I've seen other banners where you put your name too in the screen. And like, that doesn't matter. In your LinkedIn profile, you already have your name there. So there is no need to repeat your name in your banner. And another thing you need to consider is that it needs to be optimized for mobile, because around 70% of people watch LinkedIn from their phones. And you're going to be able to see this in some profiles where in the desktop and in the web, it looks amazing. Everything's perfectly aligned. But when we see that on mobile, everything gets reduced a little bit. So if you are not careful, most of these texts can get covered by your profile picture that will be covering most of this space, like around half of the screen. So for that reason, make sure you download the app and see how everything looks like there too. And now you can be like, okay, Celeste, you tell me what not to do, but what we need to do instead. What we need to do is to use the 3S formula of positioning, meaning you need to have and talk to a specific person with a specific problem, with a specific solution. And then you put your text there. You can open Canva, and in Canva you search LinkedIn banners, and it's going to give you exactly the dimensions that you need to use. And here an example is, I help founders build a profitable personal brand using AI and content systems. That's pretty similar to what I do. I'm my audience, my specific person are founders. Then the problem is building a profitable personal brand. That's the way I help to solve that, because most people don't have that, and they just burn money on ads, or they are relying all the time on referrals. And then we have the specific solution, AI and content systems. And if you follow that, you can have the text that will go in your banner. Now, for this, if you want any additional help, make sure to check the description, because there I'll put also the link to a free GPT we use in our community. It's called Profile Pilot. And this is a GPT that when you answer these questions that it's going to ask you, it's going to tell you different templates and multiple approaches and a text that you can put in your profile. And of course, you'll be able to ask it for feedback, say what you don't want, what you like, and build a Frankenstein of your favorite things. As I was saying, remember to don't include a lot of text. Be careful with things like this, because on mobile, it's going to be hard to read. But now that your banner shows people how you help, we need to make sure that your headline doesn't get behind. Now, what you need to keep in mind in this is that LinkedIn cuts most headlines, well, all headlines, after around 45 characters. And for that reason, you need to always be leading with your value proposition. Again, you can use the 3S formula for positioning. I like to do it in a different way, because I'm going to put the most important thing in the headline, and then the secondary thing that is going to be a complement will be in the banner, but ideally using the same positioning. Now, the reason I say they are a bit different is because if you have more space to say more things, you can use that to your advantage. You shouldn't only be repeating the same thing that you put in your headline in the banner too. Now, an example of all of these combined would be something like this example, where we say, helping early stage startups scale revenue through targeted marketing automation. And then if you feel like you want to, you put founder at innovative tech or whatever name of your company or business. Reason we do this, again, take this as just my personal opinion, but I don't like when other founders put this thing before all the headline, where you put CEO at X company, founder at X company. And you'll see this happening a lot on LinkedIn. The reason I don't like that, again, it's because the headline will get caught after some characters. And I think some of us fall into that mistake, me included, because There are founders I've seen who do this thing. They put founder at the beginning, but if I think about it, they have a mega following with millions of followers across different platforms, or they are well respected on YouTube, they are well respected on Instagram, like you name it. So it doesn't really impact them. But for other founders who are growing their personal brands from the beginning, I like more to start with the value proposition instead of mentioning founder or CEO, because everyone is founder, everyone's a CEO, everyone can be a CEO on LinkedIn. So you don't really impress me when you have that in your headline, at least at the beginning. That being said, again, if you want any additional help with this, make sure to use a GPT profile pilot, because it's going to help you build also your headline apart from the banner. And it'll give you multiple options, so you can take one or build the Frankenstein of your favorite ideas. And now that your headline gets attention, we need to answer the next part of your profile. That is your about section. That, funny enough, is not about you. It never should be about you, but is about how you can help others. So thing number one that you need to keep in mind is that you need to make this scannable. I'm going to give you a template. I'm going to show you an example, but nothing's going to matter if you just put huge chunks and huge paragraphs there that people might not want to read because they are in social media, not reading an essay or studying for any exam. So here's the formula. In the first line, you can put what do you do and for who you do it. After that, we write the core problem they are facing. Then from line 4 to 5, how you solve it, meaning your method, your systems, the frameworks you're going to use. This is also part of the TRIAS formula. It's actually the last part. Then in line 6, we put a short example of how you help, or essentially your social proof. So you're not only talking good about yourself, but you also have something to back that up. And in line 7, we put a CTA to check your features section, to book, to send you a DM or anything you want them to do after they read that, because again, we need to make sure to get the most out of every single space we have. And I'll show you this example so we can put it together. And feel free to pause this video, of course, if you want to read it better, want to understand or copy some of the things that are inside. But also, you're going to have the GPT that's going to help you write it too, and it's going to give you the template. So whatever you want to do first. Here it says, let's face it, you send hundreds of resumes and you have no idea why no one's calling you back. That's a problem for the specific audience we want to reach, because this is going to be for a career coach. The pain point they have. And then we intensify it even more, saying you watch your competitors getting interviews at top firms, you watch them do this, land offers at Google, you watch them double their income with one career jump, and you keep thinking to yourself, why can they do it and I cannot do it? So picture this. Recruiters are now reaching out to you. You start getting multiple offers on the table. You start working at the company you once felt was out of your league. Now we're entering not only the pain points, but the desires and how the transition and the transformation can happen. Then transition sounds surreal, doesn't it? Here's where I come in. Now, really specifying, here's what I can offer to you. Here's how I can help you. It's going to help you to write your resume. It's going to help you to write a LinkedIn profile. It's going to help you practice some interviews, negotiation skills. This is where you put your offer. And now we come again to a transition. Don't believe me, believe my numbers. I help X amount of clients land roles at Google, Amazon, you name it, career pivot, generated 10 million plus in salaries over the last 24 months. If you see, I'm putting small sentences to talk about these social proofs. And now then we go to this part where you say, you don't need more X thing that they might be doing. You need what you offer. You need a clear strategy. You need one-on-one help. You need someone on your team to help you give every single step. Without these things you hate doing, or without these things you don't want to keep doing anymore. Sounds good, right? Guess what? Feels even better. And now CTA, call to action, DM me this keyword if you want some help, or any other thing you want to add here. Now, this is a structure. Remember that if you want any additional help, you'll have the GPT profile pilot to help you go through all of this. It's going to be in the description. But now that you position yourself as someone worth following, there's a space that people check even more than the About section. But I've seen most founders completely lose momentum into this part. So for that reason, we need to talk about your feature section, because this can be either a powerful funnel or your most wasted opportunity in the profile. Now, if you have no idea what that is, stay with me because I'll show you exactly how to activate that and what needs to be there. But before, we need to start with the most common mistakes for those of you who have seen this before. This feature section is a place where you can pin stuff. It can be links, articles, or posts. But for that reason, a mistake you can do is to put a post in your feature section, because most people don't even read these posts that you're pinning just because they got good traction. Sometimes if a post performed really well and it got way more comments than what you thought it could be, or it's a viral post, I've seen a lot of people who would prioritize pinning this at the top. However, this is just wasted space because the game is not about vanity metrics. It should be about letting people know how you help them and what other steps they can take to increase your conversions. So you need to forget about pinning posts at the top as if it was TikTok. Now, another mistake is to put a link to your full website. This is because in your website, you can have things like all your products, the About section, multiple CTAs, links to book different calls with you, and this just makes things super confusing. So for that reason, you need to make sure any page you put, ideally a funnel, only has one CTA, okay? Combined to that, another very bad thing you can do is to put a Calendly link in your feature section, because, again, this should be for a funnel instead, not only a calendar link, because I've been getting clients who, people in the community who do this thing, and it always happens the same thing. They get calls, but sometimes it's with people who actually want to sell something to them, they don't want to learn anything about their business. Or sometimes they can be unqualified calls and they just spend their time in not the best way they could. Or even worse than that, they get 0 calls booked because there is not a funnel, and that link to book a call with you, it's something that it's more targeted. It's more for the bottom up of the funnel, people who are more warm, but instead you should be prioritizing warming up your leads with funnels. So again, it's not the best move ever. What you will see if there's actually a link to book a meeting, it's the link, but also combined with an application form and also combined with a video that can be something called a VSL, video sales letter. That can be something so simple as a Loom video explaining exactly the way you can help them solve their problems. But that's a topic for another video. This is what we actually help people build in our program. So let me know in the comments below if you would like me to create something specially about this thing. Now, you also need to make sure that you have no more than 3 attempts there. I'll show you exactly how this looks like. But please, 1 is the ideal thing. If you have more than 3 things pinned in this section, it's already too much. You can do it, but it's not the best thing to do. And as I was saying, the solution is to build specific landing pages with only 1 call to action. This is something we do, and for that reason, because we only focus on 1 call to action, this drives around 3 to 5 more conversions than normal pages. Now, real quick, I'll show you how this looks like in your profile. So this is completely blank, nothing's here. And what we can do is to click on the section here in Ads section, and now you click on Recommended, and you go to Featured Item. Now you're here, this is what I was telling you. You can add an alt post, you can add a link, you can add other media, articles, you name it. This feature section, the ideal thing is to always add a link, right? Now, when you do this, let's say I'm going to put the link to a workshop I did, I think last week. I'm going to add this one. This is a part of the title. And you need to make sure to leave the description empty. I'll show you why. But now, the last part is to put the thumbnail. And this should be a specific image built only for this thing. So I'll search in my files. I have this one that it's the thumbnail I use in my profile when I have the event. And it's going to be loading here. I'm going to keep this one. And here we go. It's the title, it's the image, and everything's there. Also, coming back to the guide that I was showing you here, you can pause the video to see in the screen what's the size that you can use for this image, and you put it in Canva. because these were the exact dimensions I used for that image that I show you. Now, if I go back to the profile, this is what I was telling you. You don't need to put anything in the description, because when you do it that way, if I click on this link, my profile, it's going to go directly to that website, which is the event that I had before. Now, going back, and if I actually add something in the description here, just going to edit. Edit. It's in Spanish. Okay, but anyways, just putting something here. I'm going to save it. Now, here I have it with the description, and when it has that, it now opens a pop-up instead of going directly to the website. Now, this looks like a really simple thing, but we actually see more conversions when people can just go directly to that link, because I don't know why, but some people don't know they can click on this link that says view in English to go and actually check the website. So that's a little hack there to keep it in mind. And now once your feature section is set up to convert, there's a small detail that can increase or kill trust. And you've probably seen that without realizing how powerful it is. And I'm talking about your company logo, meaning the business page that you can add on LinkedIn. Because when someone visits your profile and there's only a gray icon, I'm going to show you how it looks like exactly. This can create a little bit of doubt, just feeling like, okay, is this a real thing or is it a side project? And it just feels a little bit incomplete. Now, depending on where you are in your journey, you might have this already or you might have not. But I've seen a lot of people that don't know how to put this one. So let me show you real quick. So coming back again to the profile, that's brand new. I'm going to put these in the experience section. Let me translate this first to English. There we go. And now I'll go to experience section. Of course, you can fill all these things. I'm just showing you the most important. But let's go to experience. So add your experience. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. So if I put brand-wise, my business already has company page, which is this one. But if yours doesn't have, it's going to look a little bit like this. And it's not the best thing in the world. So once you have the company page, you can just put yours and you save that. I'm just going to put whatever I find here. Keep. And now it appears at the top. Now, if I check my profile here, my main profile, it's also showing the logo and it's also working with the rest of the colors of my brand. Now, the simple fix, if you want to make this work for you and you don't know how to create a company page, you just need to go at the top right corner in your profile and you'll see these squares together. And in that part that says for business, then you'll go at the part below and you'll find the option to create a company page. And now that your business looks legit, we need to talk about your audience. Because if your network is not aligned, your content and all the things you shared are not going to go far. That's why we need to talk about your connections. You've been on LinkedIn or X for a little bit. You know that engagement, connecting with your network, it's everything because the algorithms work in a connection per connection basis, at least in the early stages when you're building that momentum. So your community can be either helping you or hurting you. Because as you know, in many social media platforms, just like LinkedIn, the post gets tested first with a percentage of your connections. So I like to do this in the extreme scenarios. For example, when I started on LinkedIn, I wanted to be a video editor and I wanted to get jobs for this role. So most of my connections were about video editing or people wanting to get a job. And of course, the more I grew on this thing, I started talking about other things. I started talking about AI. I started talking about content and I changed a lot of stuff. So I knew that these connections were not going to like the new type of content I was creating. They were not even active on LinkedIn anymore because they were just there at the moment and I was actually just connecting for the sake of connecting. So when you want to clean things up, you can do this. Just make sure whether you want to add more connections or delete connections, keep in mind that you should do no more than 100 per week because if you go beyond that, LinkedIn will restrict your account. Because LinkedIn is pretty picky with automations or any other things that look suspicious. And also, this might not impact you a lot right now, but your connections should be aligned with people who can be your ideal clients. And this is more for those of you who are watching this video and that have the plan to build something big because you have a limit on LinkedIn for the amount of connections you can have, which is, I think it's around 30,000. Followers are unlimited, but connections, it's that. But once your audience is aligned, we need to talk about the final piece of trust, because people don't trust what you say about you. They trust more what others say about you. And this is pretty simple because we're just talking here about your recommendations. So make sure that you at least have 3 of those so your skill sets actually look legit. And with this in mind, you're ready to build your profile to make it a high converting landing page. But of course, landing pages do nothing if you don't take traffic to them. So you can click the next video that will appear in the screen where I'll show you how to build your content strategy. And in that way, the right people will keep finding your profile every single week. Also remember that you'll have the GPT profile pilot below in the description that will help you with your banner, headline, and about section. And if you want me to review the work that you've done after you complete this video, you can also check with the link in the description if there are still 101 profile audits available. And now, see you in the next one.